Hare Krishna from Hong Kong. I'm Sravaniya Dasi, initiated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupāda in 1971. Thank you to Vrishabh Das Prabhu for the invitation to speak in support of Śrīla Prabhupāda's original books. Prabhupada is quoted as saying, "Books are the basis, purity is the force, preaching is the essence, utility is the principle." It's becoming increasingly obvious that his original books are the basis. Otherwise, where's the purity? I'll begin with a quote by Gilbert Hyatt, a Scottish-American classical scholar and teacher. And he said, "These are not books, lumps of lifeless paper, but minds alive on the shelves." And the 17th century French philosopher René Descartes, he said, "The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries." I totally agree with them. Reading Śrīla Prabhupāda's books is direct association with him. My first encounter with Śrīla Prabhupāda's books was back in St. Louis, Missouri in May 1971. I had been reading Be Here Now by Ram Dass and Swami Vishnu Devananda's complete illustrated book of yoga. I had gone to the Ferguson County Library and checked out the Yoga Sutras by I.K. Taimni. I was very interested in this sort of thing. I wanted to understand consciousness and reality. Psychology was not enough for me. So I asked my brother if he knew of any yoga places in town. Back then, yoga was not popular like it is today, and there was no internet, only the yellow pages. Well, he told me that there was something downtown, so I found the address and drove myself to the Hare Krishna Center on a Thursday night. They were about to have Bhagavad Gita class. It was a small temple with only a few devotees, and there was one brahmachari who gave the class, and I was the only one in the temple room listening. It was Śrīla Prabhupāda's small, purple-colored, abridged Bhagavad Gita as it is. I don't remember the verse or the topic, but when I heard it, I realized that this was what I had been looking for. After class, somehow a devotee asked me if I'd like to stay, and I said yes. I was 18 years old. I had graduated high school the year before. I was in between jobs. Everything just fell into place. I joined the temple. I chanted 16 rounds the next morning. Hearing from Śrīla Prabhupada through his book was a powerful, life-changing experience that caused me to take the road less traveled. Sadhu Sangha. This means to associate with the pure, genuine devotee of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. As far as pure association is concerned, our Guru Maharaj gives a clarification in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, verse Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 18. Śrīla Prabhupada writes, "The devotee Bhagavat is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So, by pleasing the devotee Bhagavat, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavat." So it seems that he's talking about a person Bhagavat and a book Bhagavat, two Bhagavats. And to understand these effects practically, it should be noted that by such sincere association of the Bhagavatas, one is sure to receive transcendental knowledge very easily, with the result that he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. The more progress is made in devotional service under the guidance of the Bhagavatas, the more one becomes fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In Krishna book, chapter 47, Śrīla Prabhupada also writes, "Love of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is therefore the perfectional stage of real knowledge in understanding things as they are. One can attain this perfect understanding by hearing about the Lord. This cleanses the consciousness. Let me share with you the important verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm sure you have heard this many times. Shrinvatam svakatha Krishna punya sravana kirtana hridyantasto yabhadrani vidhunoti suhritsatam. Translation: Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Properly heard and chanted. This means hearing from authorized texts in the line of disciplic succession. And we had that. Until some individuals whimsically decided to alter Śrīla Prabhupāda's original books. I don't know about you, but when it comes to engaging an editor, I would prefer an English professor with a PhD rather than a high school dropout. Bhaktivedanta Prabhu was first class, and he worked on the manuscripts that Śrīla Prabhupada wrote by personal consultation with him and approval by him. Posthumous editing of our Guru Maharaj's books is a travesty and one of the specific offenses to chanting the holy name. Offense number 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. In this regard, His Grace Gauradas Prabhu, a vociferous advocate for maintaining the original books, gives the following 3 references. This is from Gauradas. It is a fact that in 1977, Śrīla Prabhupada strictly prohibited any posthumous editing. The evidence is as follows. In a room conversation on February 27th, 1977, Śrīla Prabhupada said, "The system is whatever authority has done, even there is mistake, it should be accepted." Here's another one. In a letter to Lilavati on the 31st of March, 1977, Prabhupada writes, "Our books must remain as they are. Do not waste your time anymore with such attempts." And then, on the 22nd of June, 1977, in Vrindavan, a conversation took place with Śrīla Prabhupada and some concerned devotees about book editing. In that conversation, Śrīla Prabhupada singled out some devotees and called them rascal editors. He said, "Write to Satsvarup that this is the position. They are doing anything and everything at their whim. The next printing should be again to the original way." So Gauradas Prabhu concludes, nobody can disobey those 3 emphatic 1977 no book change instructions. I agree. It seems to me that Śrīla Prabhupada is the transcendental alchemist who turned Jagais and Madais into Brahmins. To go against his instructions of not altering his books after his disappearance invalidates this scientific process. Arsa Prayoga. This dictates that you cannot find faults in or alter a spiritual master's text post-samadhi. You accept it as it is out of respect. As far as my personal experience is concerned, I have been teaching Hatha Yoga professionally in the Far East since 1983. I finally began teaching philosophy to yoga teacher trainees in 2001. To facilitate the students' understanding, I put together slide presentations with verses from Śrīla Prabhupāda's original Bhagavad Gita as it is. But a problem occurred when the students tried reading from the newly edited version of the book provided by the temple. The verses did not match the slides. There was confusion, and I found it unnecessarily troubling. I had no idea that revisions had been going on to this level. Here's one needless change that I found particularly disturbing. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 35. Here's the original version. The Blessed Lord said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to control the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and by detachment. Here's the new edition, the altered version. Lord Sri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. Wait, what? Suitable practice? It's not the same as constant practice. Are the rascal editors trying to water it down to get more followers? Śrīla Prabhupada never did that. Even the name of the chapter 6 was changed from Sankhya Yoga to Dhyana Yoga for some strange reason. It's been my practical experience that unnecessary changes are actually controlled destruction, often given the euphemism of enhancement. Enhancement. I don't see the changes in Prabhupada's books as revisions. To me, they're more like distortions or contaminations. So, at the risk of being considered a heretic, I stand with those who uphold the original editions of translations by our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his verses praising the spiritual master, he writes, Sakshadharitveena samasta shastri uktastata bhavyata eva sadvi kintu pravorya priya eva tasya vande guru sri charanaravinda. Spiritual master is honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. A guru informs the student according to scripture, but the Acharya teaches realized knowledge, pratyaksha. He transmits to the world messages of high importance because he is practicing what he teaches. He is therefore empowered by the Lord. This is the reason why I strongly support preserving the original publications of His Divine Grace as they are. Thank you for listening. From Hong Kong, I'm Sravaniya Dasi. Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai.